Once again, it's another edition of Lansing, What's the Haps, Lansing, and Terrapang. It is Metro Melik, People's Champ, here, and I'm excited to talk about some things. He has a couple of subjects that he wants to talk about, however, I have an agenda as well. Siso, welcome to the stage.
Thank you for having me.
Siso, first of all, here's a funny. When we did the news segment, you introduced yourself, and then I thought to myself, how am I going to say this properly? So when I said your name on the news segment, it came out Dhladhla, but I purposely said it so fast that I thought no one would pay attention. So I think I have it 75% there. 60? 22.
I haven't heard it. I'm just assuming. No.
Which is totally fair.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure most people from the United States of America and your last name are going to have a difficult time. Mm-hmm. However, welcome to America.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here. It's great to be here.
Now, let me paraphrase that by backing up and going, you've lived here your whole life. So.
First gen,
though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is lovely. You're truly African American.
I like to say African and American.
Well, there you are.
Huh?
Yeah. And your parents met? Wait, your parents' story is interesting too. Tell the people. They're from different countries.
Yeah, my mom's from Zimbabwe. My dad's from South Africa.
So that's not close to each other.
Mm-mm. My mom ended up going to South Africa, though, which is where she met my dad.
Oh, okay. Why did she move to South Africa?
You know, that reason, I do not know.
You didn't care about how your parents got together and how you were born? You were just like, thanks for letting me be here?
Yeah.
You just bypassed all the past stuff?
No, to me, I term that as just being grateful for however I got here.
Oh, that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So, do you know what your father was doing in South Africa when they met?
Yeah, he was a professor, right? So he was doing a lot of research and professorial work in South Africa, which is a big part of what brought them to America. There was a lot of political unrest in the 90s. They were dealing with the apartheid over there. My parents were actually, my brother was born in an exile camp, so situations over there weren't the most desirable. Looking to flee, they ended up coming to America, but Michigan State's agricultural history is one of the things that particularly drew my family's attention because of my dad's professorial work in agriculture and poultry science.
So Michigan State University being the first land-grant college in the United States of America, and then because of its placement in the United States of America was an agricultural college to begin with. So it was two very uniquely specific things about MSU, and then another beautifully significant thing about MSU is that the campus is enclosed. Mm-hmm. Even though it's vast, it's enclosed. The MSU campus is all one plot. It's giant.
Right.
But unlike other universities that might be 45 minutes down the road, where its university is dotted within the city, which has its own quaintness. However, MSU, I just love the fact that you start here and you kind of walk, and then a day later, you're still walking.
No, the campus is beautiful, especially around this time of year. We got a lot of foliage changing colors, and I grew up there. When I think about campus, I remember going to classes with my parents. Shout out to Spartan Village. That's where I grew up, and back in the day.
Wait, Spartan Village ain't Spartan Village anymore, is it?
That's why I said shout out to how it was back in the day.
Golly.
Yeah, man. There's a big repository of a lot of different kinds of people, and it's actually a big part of why I am the way I am today. You know, I grew up next to people not like me, but very similar to me in the fact that we were all from or had heritage that stretched to somewhere else.
Beautiful. And then your parents decided to keep roots here, stay here. You choose to stay here. Talk about why you choose to stay in Lansing.
Why I choose to stay in Lansing. I can do a lot here. Didn't always feel that way in the beginning. I never had a problem with Lansing, but for the things that I saw myself accomplishing, I thought I had to go somewhere else to, a bigger city.
Things like
I got my degree in graphic design. I always wanted to be in the arts, and I thought that, to be a photographer or a designer or a big creative force, I had to be in New York. LA, Chicago is actually where I was for some time, and then I came back to Lansing in order to kind of help out with family, right? We talk about being a first gen, and there are some nuances of family responsibilities that are a little bit different for different cultures. At that point in time, I was the most available, schedule wise and commitment wise with my family, so I came to hold that down. And basically everything that I thought that I had to find somewhere else, it literally came to me here. I spent some time working in a pizza shop, but then that grew to working at the Children's Science Center, and that was around the time my niece was born. So I thought, hey, let me be in a space that is geared towards her, and I'll just think about designing and influencing those young minds that are like sponges. And then I was given an opportunity to be the exhibits graphic designer at Impression 5, which is the Children's Science Center. And how many times have I gone to children's museums in Indiana and Chicago, like, this would be great. And really getting opportunities to see my designs come to life and see young people interact with them on the floor, and you see people taking pictures and posting them on Facebook of that thing that I designed in the background. It was just a really great opportunity. I remember being in Chicago wanting to be what I think is a local hero, and to me a local hero is somebody that has influence and impact on their community. And one of the things that I've learned or come to learn about Lansing is, if you'd like, your impact can be as deep as you'd like it to be. I constantly say I end up in places that I'm still astounded how I got there, but somebody either opened the door or gave me the keys, and it's a lot less competition in that sense, in contrast to a lot of the cities that have more of the whimsy and the places that we'd like to go,
That is definitely a fantastic, wonderful way to encapsulate how great Lansing can be as a community, as a space, as a place, and then as an incubator for self.
Hey.
And I will say it again, in Lansing and in Michigan, you can do anything you want to do.
Right.
We just don't have marine biology.
I never thought about that.
We don't have a saltwater space.
We got all that fresh water.
Fresh water.
We got
up
that
the
fresh
wazoo.
water. Yeah.
4 out of 5 Great Lakes prefer Michigan.
Right.
So there's that, but there's, I'm sure somebody told me about some place that does research or whatever with marine biology,
Sure.
but I'm talking about visiting an ocean. But
Right.
everything else is here: technology, arts, nature, agriculture, manufacturing. Lansing is the first motor city. I don't give a darn what anybody says. It's the original motor city.
Shout out to Ari Olds,
Ransom
man.
E. Olds, and Ransom Eli Olds, was it?
I never questioned what the
Somewhere.
E was about. I was too impressed with Ransom as okay. Ransom Olds, let's get it.
So, yeah.
Ransom is also somebody that I can identify with in the sense of, I'm a younger brother and I have a great relationship with my older brother, and he also had a lot of impact in his community via sports and just how he was, his charisma. But I also know what it's like to be kind of in that shadow, and for me is positive because it's somebody that I look up to and want to aspire to be. But right now, when we talk about cars and when we talk about that kind of ingenuity, of course, Ford all day. What would Ford be without Ransom? So for me, that translates.
A different thing or a different time.
Well, that kind of translates to, on some level, now feel me because I'm romantic about where I'm from, but what would Detroit be without Lansing?
Right. That's why I speak about this. The original Motor City. Call it what you want down the road. No disrespect for what today is, but know your history.
I actually, I have a shirt that I designed, and I took it to Detroit and placed it in front of one of my favorite murals by one of my favorite artists who is emphatic about representing all things Detroit. And she paints this mural and it's a spin on a classic, and the lady's wearing a big, humongous neon Detroit D. And what I did was I put my t-shirt on a chain link fence right in front of that, and it says Lansing over everything in it. And then in the background there's just this huge Detroit D. And I do it because it talks about that interplay that we just communicated. There's no beef with Detroit. I love Detroit. I love going there.
Yes.
I'm also allowed to love Lansing as much as Detroit people love Detroit, because basically when it gets all down to it, we didn't choose where we come from. I didn't choose to be here from Lansing. I believe that wherever I'm from, I would feel the way that I feel about Lansing, about that location. But I'm just from Lansing, and I'm the collection of experiences and people and opportunities and programming that was here. And if you like me now, if you appreciate Siso, you appreciate who taught him how to be Siso, and you appreciate the place that grew Siso to become who he is.
However, there ain't nothing like 11 o'clock on the lodge going into Detroit listening to WJLB.
There's nothing like Detroit, period.
Nothing like that.
There's nothing. I was just
one of my favorite things ever.
I think
when I first did it on a motorcycle.
Oh.
I was like, yeah.
I'm still intimidated to ride a motorcycle, man.
Ride a motorcycle in Detroit and not know where you're going. Try that.
No. Try to ride a motorcycle maybe, but I need to know where I'm going.
Yeah, I got lost. Trying to visit a friend. He's like, where are you? And I'm like, bro,
I don't know.
And I'm just like, all right, such and such gas station, such and such.
Were you wearing that jacket?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
True to brand. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I love that city.
I'm gonna flip it on you real quick. You ask all the questions and you can, but I've got one question for you.
We got to do that when we come back. Speaking about how great Lansing is, there's someone out there great that's keeping us safe. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. You feel safer now? You should. It's What's the Haps? Lansing. Intero Bang. It's Metro Melik. I'm here with Siso. Dhladhla. See? Tell the people what it is.
It is Zaza. Now, before you try again, let me explain to you why it's difficult for you too, right? That is Zulu. That is a non-Indo-European language. By the time you had formed your logistic patterns in your brain, you had thrown out all those vowels. You don't need that. The shape that is needed to produce that sound is really native to people who speak Zulu and languages of that nature, which is why I just implore and empower everyone. Don't even worry about that. Just call me Siso, Siso. It's easy. But I love my last name because it signifies my heritage, and it also has a meaning, and it means chief. I love it. It's who I am.
There it is. I can't say it. I tried. I'm about 60%. It's the DTH thing. In my mind, it's a DTH all said at once. And my mouth
Close.
doesn't move like that.
There
Well,
you go.
I don't know how else to explain it. Like you said, that was gone.
Right.
You had a question for me?
What do you love? I continually see you posting on Facebook scenes, and then they say, do what you love. What do you love to do? And why do you love to do it?
It's a multi-level answer in that often when you see that post on social media, it is utilizing my skill sets to help uplift others. Skill sets being photography, videography, public speaking, things of that nature. So it's easy to capture a scene of me capturing a scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the last one I put, I ended up at a wildlife conservancy out in Bath. It was Langsburg, Bath, DeWitt, I don't know. You know how those towns overlap.
Mm-hmm.
It's 300 acres of land off the highway that is so picturesque. And then there was this spot that had basically a social club where I was at a performance of a band. And I'm like, I've been here for how long? And it's last week and I'm just learning about this. And so I started a business Lansing made because people kept saying there's nothing to do in Lansing. And I was like, hold my beer. Alright, so with that, what's to do in Lansing? Put on your DLI hat.
What's to do in Lansing?
Let's talk about that idea of shopping local.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in Lansing, specifically from the business and entrepreneurial front. I'm biased because those are the things that I like and pay attention to. I'm also privileged enough to work at Downtown Lansing, Inc., which I term as the Business Improvement Authority for Downtown Lansing. This week, we're in the middle of a campaign called Lift Up Local. It's the third consecutive month where we pick a week and we just patronize businesses. We also get real vocal about patronizing these businesses on social media. We tag the businesses. We use hashtags. Grub Lansing if you're buying food in Old Town, Downtown, or Rio Town. Shop Lansing if you're shopping in any one of those areas. And support Lansing if you are highlighting a non-profit in any one of these areas. This is going on because we're still dealing with the ramifications of COVID, right? We are still seeing businesses operating at 25% of what they're used to putting out on the calendar year. We're still having business owners contemplating on, should I keep these doors open? We cannot fix everything right away, but what we can do is move through our community with heart. What we can do is support these people in real, tangible ways that, if nothing else let these business owners know that they are part of the community and we want to support them. And if we mess around and actually drive up their sales, if we mess around and create experiences like you just mentioned for someone who never knew this business existed, never knew this was here, if we can make basically what you did, if we can uplift these businesses and encourage them to keep going forward, I mean, that's what we're here to do.
And there's so much importance to that in a sense that you have uniqueness, variety, enjoyment. I understand the convenience of chains, whether small or large, national or international. Like, I get it. Travel, you know what to expect at this specific chain. It's going to be the same thing down the road. I get that. But you know what's cool is that when people ask me where I go out to eat, where do I want to go out to eat, I think about what I want to eat first. Rarely think about where first. I think, what do I feel like today? Do I feel like that omelet from Dimitri's? Do I feel like that spoon of peanut from Soup Spoon? Do I feel like that spicy fried chicken from Munchies? Am I gonna have some of that baklava from So Sloth? Am I gonna have a burger from Kewpie's? Like, what do I like? The menu, the palette, the menu is Lansing. That's the menu. It takes 7 minutes to get to most of these places.
Sure.
Most all of the places, right? I'm not gonna go to the restaurant then pick up a menu and go, what do you want, and then try to figure out what I want. I'm gonna go figure out what I want and then go to the spot.
Well, one way I like to think about it is, because I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of these business owners, and I've always wanted to be a business owner, and I've always had an appreciation for that figure in the community. I think about, who do I want to support?
Oh yeah, that's
I think
the
like,
other thing.
oh man, I gave Mo some money last week. I gave my TT at Social Sloth some money last week. I made sure I hit up Liv at Soul Nutrition because they're always looking out. I'm thinking about the people who I actually have relationships with and who I'm so pleased to be able to have a receipt that proves this is how invested I am in you. This is how much I believe in what you've got going on. This is how much I want to see you succeed. I know it's a drop in the bucket, but here, it's an empowered decision to support you, specifically you.
So we speak about Small Business Saturday, and now we're coming up to, I guess, what you would call the holiday shopping buying season, and the COVID situation has turned somebody into something that has never been done before. I don't want to speak on it, but we need to think about those dollars going to the people that are in your community that are paying their taxes. You want to complain about the roads, that person isn't going to fix your roads. The person that has a house here is going to help you fix your roads, your schools. You see what I'm saying? So Small Business Saturday as a idea for your hat.
I mean, small Business Saturday is economics. If there are businesses in your neighborhood that get enough money, they can stay there. If they stay there, they can influence the culture. If they influence the culture, we can create the place that we like to go to, or we can create the place that we say we do not have. I like the idea of money moving down the street, all the way down and all the way back up. And I like the idea of us building our own community and empowering ourselves with an economic understanding. Right now, everybody's got to get somewhat entrepreneurial in the sense that we're problem solving. We don't know how to deal with COVID. There is no solution. So what we have to do is keep moving forward. We also have to be scientists. We're doing experiments. We have strong hypotheses and we're testing. Hey, does that pop-up work like we think it will? Hey, what if we come up with this event? Is that going to help the community the way that we need it to? What from this experiment worked? What can we extrapolate and expound upon and make bigger? So that's exactly what I'm thinking about when I think Small Business Saturday. This past weekend, we had a pop-up, small pop-up, of a few businesses. Couple things they had in common. Every single one of these businesses had never stepped foot in downtown, had never been invited downtown, had never seen themselves in that setting. And then they pop up, and then they make some money. And then they establish a sense of community. And then they start to like this area. And then they ask, when can I come back? And then they ask, wait, there's an open vacancy on the street. Can we talk about how I might be able to fill that? They begin to see themselves in this community. And then once they establish roots, the community becomes theirs and they care for it and they grow it and they own it. That's what we're excited about. Well, me specifically, this next Small Business Saturday. Those same businesses with a couple new ones are going to come back in downtown. They're going to operate outside in the midst of COVID, be as safe as they can, be as entrepreneurial as they can so they can be flexible to these times and still make it to their goal of being sustainable businesses.
That's fantastic.
I think so.
So, if you were to tell somebody one thing about downtown, what would it be?
I live there. I love there. I hope you do the same. And if you don't live in downtown, I hope you feel that way about where you're from.
Aw.
Downtown's just my block, so I'm going to do everything that I can. And this is what I said to myself when I came back for family responsibilities. Yo, if I'm going to be there, it needs to be better because I'm there.
Oh.
And that just applies everywhere.
Well, with that, I'm going to say, be like Siso. See yourself in your community. Thanks for watching another edition of What's the Haps Lansing Interrobang. It's Metro Melik, People's Champ. Until next time. That's so loud on the microphone.
The champ is here! I hope that's in there, because that's how I feel.